All right, I said I'm going to make some videos on the business world. My aim here is to widen my base of my viewership, and let everyone know I know how to save the universe. Please go watch my other videos. But I also kind of have to develop the fact that I'm sane because you're programmed to think I'm crazy, which is okay. I'm not. uh, but in my videos, I say I'm a business expert, and I am. I've worked across multiple industries, multiple segments of industries, in manufacturing, which is the hardest place to work in the business world, is in manufacturing, specifically in a business that has both direct to customer sales and customer to customer sales, and then product lines, variations. I worked for a company that had 14 locations across the globe with 450,000 part numbers, 34,000 end items sold to the customer. And my job was to organize it all, and I did a damn good job. Uh, so, what's wrong with the business world is important to topic to talk about. Uh, the thing is, with the business world, is most of the business is business to business sales. The retailers are at the end of things, but you pass, if you think about like a automotive plant being built, the billions of dollars that takes, or maybe $1 billion, that kind of, uh it doesn't matter. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds. What's wrong with the business world is the cost plus model. And you learn in business school that uh in the business world, you learn that everything's market driven. The cost is market driven, how much someone's willing to pay. And that's not how the business world works. How it really works is, you start with a target about how much money you want to put in your pocket, right? And then you understand your costs. It's working backwards. It should work the other way. But how it works in our world is, you understand how much money you want to make, what you want to tell the street you're going to make, and then you build the plan backwards on how you're going to go about making that much money. So if I want to make $20 million, it's a percentage of how much of my costs, right? I'm going to try and keep this simple. If I have a $100 million of cost and I want to make 20%, put 20 million in my pocket, ignoring the taxes and all that shit. That's a different topic. But and I'll make a video on how that all works out. But if I have $100 million in costs and I want to make $20 million, then 100 million is cost, 1.2 get you your $20 million, right? You work backwards. You have 20 million bucks, and you say, well, these are what my costs are. How do I eliminate my costs to make it so that my $20 million is in my pocket, right? Well, how you grow your business is increase your costs in that model. I know that sounds illogical, but that's how it works. If I have $100 million business and I want to make $20 million, that's 1.2, right? But if I want to make $40 million, then I need a $200 million business. So I need to increase my costs so that I can make my $40 million. That's how it works. Um, Companies will hire just to put somebody at a desk so that they're their cost, so that they can hit their target revenue, right? The problem is costs constantly go up and up and up to make more and more money, right? Efficiency is bullshit. All of that. Think about how efficient we've gotten from, say the 60s. Then our costs should have went extremely down. But our costs haven't gone down, they've gone up. It's illogical, right? And why has the cost gone up? Because your raw material people are raising their costs because they want to make more money. The market doesn't dictate your costs. The price of something, the cost of your goods dictate how much money you're going to make, and then you calculate your price based on how many units you ship, it's backwards. It's backwards, and it's not. It's you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand this stuff. Uh, your cost should have substantially went down from the efficiencies of automation. Costs have not gone down. Costs have only went one way, up. And at the highest levels where the terrible decisions are made, that's the aim. But when you work at a business, people are always like, oh, the cost, we got to get the cost down, we got to get the cost down. So it's an illusion because they don't want the cost down, they want the cost up. And the root cause of that is very few people own all the companies. They're in control of all the companies. It seems like there's millions and millions of companies, but there's really three. And Ted's Files is a good one, but you can look at their deep dive into BlackRock. It'll open your eyes a little bit in the fact that we don't really have 10 billion companies. We got three companies controlling the 10 billion companies, and there's 7 tribes, but the business world's motive is to generate costs so that they can make more money. And if you're both the buyer and the seller, then generating more costs generates more money for both, right? And it's weird, but like I'm a consultant. I should be, but I'm not. But my skills, what are my skills worth? Well, in the open market, if I'm selling my skills, they're $100, $200 an hour, right? But if Robert Half sells my skills, they're $1,000 or $2,000 an hour, right? So then, you guys probably seen in the news recently how the government is canceling all kinds of contracts with Deloitte and Touche and some of the bigger, consulting houses. Well, it's intentional because the consulting houses are run by the same companies that are paying the bill, right? So I worked at a tool house company, and a tool house company that was in rapid growth. And they were buying up all the tool house companies in the United States, which is what's going on. Everybody's consolidating, makes it easier for them to control everything. So I worked for Robert Half. I can't imagine how much money they were charging Rhino Tool House, but I was getting paid $45 an hour. The job I was doing was easily $1,000 an hour consulting fee because it was impossible. The company had sold twice and they never reconciled their inventory. Over a 2-year period, different investors jumped in, and again, different investors are the same investor. It's just a way to launder money across the businesses. The smaller investors sell to the bigger investors, sell to the bigger investors, sell to the bigger investors. Rhino Tool House has 13 locations, I think. But when they didn't reconcile their books when they sold the company the first time to the smaller investor, and they quote unquote outgrew that investor and got a new investor, again, that's all nonsense. But I had to reconcile their inventory ins and outs of a company that their journal entries for their finance team was kept on a paper journal, still written in a journal. And all of the ins and outs of payroll and all that stuff was just a nightmare. So I had to go back and get all the checks that were written and assign them to inventory and align their journal entries so that I could understand how many ins and outs happened of each of these SKU numbers. And of course, the drawings were all out of whack, and what a nightmare. I don't know how many people that I've met could do what I did, but they paid me $45 an hour. But Robert Half can charge whatever the heck they want to the customer. The customer is going to pay it. They're all owned by the same people. So it's just right pocket, left pocket, right pocket, left pocket. Money, money, money. Generate more and more costs. The consumer pays it. And the consumer pays it. They define how much money you make, and then they're going to define how much money you spend. But it's gotten out of control, right? We can't afford anything anymore. And that's all part of the plan too, is to drive people down to the bottom so that you get accustomed to the fact that they have to take care of you, and then they're going to allot what you get to eat and what you get to do and what you more directly. They've already done it at a high level. All right, there's my 10 minutes. 10 minute videos. You want to keep them under 20 minutes for the algorithm stuff. 10 minutes are easy digestible. Nothing over 20 minutes, unless you're doing some specific topic where people are cool sitting around for it. It helps you in your algorithm. All right, I'll make another one.